Why do so many content agencies push short form content? Because it's easy. All of their clients are making the same video. They're making videos that anyone can make. For founders and business owners, what it's really about is growing your trust, your authority, and your connection. This past summer, I had an opportunity to talk with a business owner who was frustrated with their content. They were working with an agency to create a lot of short form content. They were posting almost every day to Instagram. And their frustration was not with the views that they were getting, but was with the amount of engagement. They didn't feel like they were seeing enough comments and likes and shares on the content, especially for how much they were posting. So they asked me to take a look, and I was happy to do the research and kind of give my opinion on what I thought was happening. In doing that research, I came up with this question of why do so many content agencies push short form content and short form content only? And I think that I can boil this question down to one reason. Most content agencies are pushing short form content because it's easy. It's easy for them to create a formula that they can then take and apply across all of their clients and get results. So what they can do is they can try a bunch of different templates and a bunch of different systems and a bunch of different processes and find the right mix that works. Once they find a winning formula, they can take that and apply it to any client that comes in the door, and that formula will get results for that client. But there's two things that happen with this, in my opinion. Number one, everything becomes generic. All of their clients are making the same video. They all sound the same. They're making videos that anyone can make. The second thing is that most content agencies are focused on views, and I think that this tracks logically, right? Like if as a content agency I can get you views on your content, that's more eyeballs that are seeing your business or your brand and more opportunities for you to sell your product or your service. But think about that business owner that I met with over the summer. They weren't worried about the views. They were worried about the engagement. They were worried that they weren't seeing enough comments. They weren't seeing enough likes. They weren't seeing enough shares, because that founder understood that that's what built community. That's what built connection. Because at the end of the day, for founders and business owners, I don't think it's about growing views. You're not an influencer. I think what it's really about is growing your trust, your authority, and your connection. Because those are the things that help you to sell more product. Those are the things that people buy into so that they can buy your product or your service. So I have 3 elements that I try to include in every piece of short form content that I create for a client. And I call them elements because not every single one has to be present in every single piece of content that we create. As long as you focus on trying to have at least one of these elements present, I truly think that you have a powerful piece of short form content that can really perform for you and create that connection that you're looking for. So element number 1 is value. And we add value to content in one of 2 ways. One, we can entertain. We can give our viewer the opportunity to escape their reality into the content we're creating, even if it's just for 60 seconds. Number 2 is educate. That's an opportunity for us to give the viewer something that they can take away, a lesson that they can apply to their daily life or their business or whatever it is that they're trying to grow. Now, the second element that I like to focus on is story. And to me, story is at the heart of everything. It's how we relate, how we connect, how we learn lessons. And I actually think that if you focus on story, if you really focus on telling a great story in your content, that it actually takes care of number 1, right? Like if you just focus on story, you're going to be adding value. And here's a great example of a client that we helped where we focused on story and that story added value.
The same year I led the country in home runs, I led the country in errors. I say that because you're going to fail. It doesn't matter. What matters is how you respond, how you overcome it. You're going to fail, you're going to mess up, you're going to make errors, but you're going to fail. It doesn't mean you're not going to be great. It doesn't. It's your response to it. Be upset, be mad, but want to make adjustments and work harder to try to minimize those mistakes. But just come back stronger. That's all it is learn from your mistakes.
And that video went to over 1 million views on Instagram because it had both of those elements. It focused on an incredible, powerful story that added value by educating about failure. But there is that third element. And element number 3 is the idea that you should always try to connect a short form piece of content to a long form piece of content. I look at short form content as if they're trailers for my long form content, right?
Meet Scotty Smalls.
Family comedy without the family.
The most phenomenal discovery of our time.
So your short form content should be something that leads to long form content. And that's because there is a disproportionate amount of attention on short form content. Short form content is the king of attention, but long form content is the king of connection, because long form content gives you the opportunity to add way more value by telling really powerful stories that people are willing to go deep with. So your short form content should always try to lead to a long form piece of content, because what that does is it allows us to not focus so much just on content creation, but on creating a content ecosystem that somebody can come into and have a full journey throughout. When it comes to content ecosystems, I think a lot of people mess up the content distribution funnel and the content creation funnel. So check out the video that's on the screen for more about that. And remember, there's a great big beautiful tomorrow.